Yeah, we're here again.
Yeah.
Once again, we are at safe setting to discuss some very relatable issues that we all can identify within our society. My name is Flourish, and with me we have Fumi Salau.
I'm Grace Okoro.
I'm Fumilola Onilinla.
Okay, so we're all here to slice and dissect this topic. Today we're looking at the topic trust and self-esteem issues. So trust issues, self-esteem issues. That's what we will be looking at today. According to this quote by Gloria Steinem, she says, self-esteem isn't everything. It's just that there is nothing without it. Like, it looks as if it's a it's an issue that has been overflowed, a topic that has been overflowed. But I still wonder, because I agree with that quote. Is there something you can do without a positive self-esteem?
Yeah.
Can you take any positive self without understanding who is taking it? If we look at definition, self-esteem is an indicator of an individual's self-worth, sense of value, how you see yourself, what you feel about yourself, what you believe in your own abilities, and how an individual recognizes their strength. When somebody has good self-esteem, they feel empowered, to take decisions, to explore new experiences, to offer their support and help, leadership positions, It's just, and there are people who have so many things within them that they want to achieve in this life, but they are stuck within the space of what will people think. Will I be accepted? Am I good enough? Am I worthy? Who will listen to me? If not because of the shape of my ear, I would have done it. If not because of this, I would have done it. Because of my history, my parents' background, I won't be able to do it. They just have all sort of things that make them believe that they are not enough, and they can't take that step. Today, looking at self-esteem in the lives of children, from Lola.
Yeah. Children with good self-esteem, good perception of who they are, knowing that they are loved, knowing that they are valued, knowing that whatever it is, they get all the love they can get from their parents. You see that they are confident children. They are resilient children. You see them, even when they fail at some things, they are not afraid to pick up themselves and try new challenges and things like that. So you see, children that have a good sense of who they are very confident children. And if you look closely, they are high flyers. They do well in their academics.
Awesome. So self-esteem is even linked to academic achievement, social relationship, the energy the zest that they need to, approach life and other things. So conversely, children that have poor self-esteem, Grace, how do we see them in the society? What are the things you notice about them?
A lot of children that have poor self-esteem are timid. They can't easily relate with people. They withdraw. They don't. They're not free with people because they are afraid that probably what they're doing may not be right, or people may laugh at them. So they're not free.
They are shy.
They're shy. They're not free with people.
And have you noticed children that you're talking to? They want to respond, they'll be twisting their clothes, and they'll just be fidgeting. You're wondering, can't you keep your arms by yourself and talk? Can't you express yourself freely without fidgeting? Don't you see this in adults sometimes?
Exactly.
Adults that find expression difficult, they will rather hide. No, I like to be behind the camera. No, I like to be seen but not heard. If it is genuine, we understand, but where it is because of some deep-rooted issues. I think we need to deal with it so that we can find our full expressions as people. All right. So according to research, people who have poor self-esteem they have great propensity for depression, suicidal thoughts, and things like that.
Yeah. It's very possible because they could not open up. They bottle in a lot of things and they are harmful because they were like, how would I handle this? Who should I tell? Even if I should tell anyone, nobody cares. And they just tend to want to handle the problem the way they feel they could do it. And that's actually one of the reasons why they decide to give up. So,
Sometimes fear of being judged.
exactly. Even if I should express myself, what would happen? After all, the last one, when I did, I was almost killed, or they were just blaming me for everything. Nobody cares. How will I just, cope with this again? It's better to just leave. Like I had a story of someone who was, caught stealing. Of course, it's not as if stealing is good. We know it's not good. But then the person was judged to the extent of, they gave him a very big embarrassment. And the next thing we heard about that person was he committed suicide because he couldn't handle the shame that he went through. So once you could not accept yourself, even if you're vulnerable in any way, and you could not bounce back, there's a tendency for this kind of suicidal thoughts.
So that brings us to that word, self-acceptance. It's defined as the relationship of an individual with him or herself. It's acceptance of self despite your weakness and your deficiencies.
Yeah.
We all have good, bad, and ugly, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you now separate yourself? I'm the good one. Who is the bad one? We are all a work in progress.
Exactly. You're right.
And there is a way we correct people to restoration.
Yeah.
There is a way we correct people to destruction, suicide. Do you know there is also that tendency that when you are focused, you have made up your mind to correct something, we can focus on all the things that particular person is doing wrong. Subconsciously,
Yes.
we just notice that they are wrong is what attracts us. And the more we focus on it, the more they feel
Depressed.
the less worthy they feel.
Yes.
The less worthy they feel, the less accepted they feel. It just looks as if, and do you know that most of the time when someone has taken the step to correct something you have been talking about almost all the time, especially children,
Yeah.
we don't know that they have made up their mind that they will never do this again.
Exactly.
Shouldn't we give them that chance?
We should, but we overflog it most of the
We
time,
overflog
and
it.
it makes them feel uncomfortable.
It makes them feel like
And
there's
rather
nothing
than
I
them
do that's
changing,
good.
That is
They will
good.
now believe that as if I'm not trusted.
I can't be better.
I can't be better.
I'll give an example. There was this child that was doing video, took her parents, her mother, I think, her mother's phone, and was doing video. Went for a birthday party. So she went to a corner and was doing the video, and she said, "Oh, look at my face. I'm looking so beautiful, so pretty. And it will soon be my own birthday too. I believe that by the time I am 10, I would have come to the end of my stupidity." When I heard that, I said, "Hello. So what's this stupidity
Yeah.
stupidity period that you are in?" I wanted to engage it. As I said, "Come now. So there's a season of stupidity. Why are you in a season of stupidity?" She said, "Well,
I'll be told.
her father believes she's stupid
Mm.
because she's slow.
Mm.
She's slower than her brother. The firstborn, a boy, does everything, learns faster, picks things faster. But she says while she's still learning it, trying to understand it, the father wants him to just act like, just like, can't you see him? Can't you see him? So she just believes that she's stupid, and she's obviously she even affirmed it to me that she knows she's not as smart as him.
Wow.
So I started engaging that girl at the birthday party. Now we couldn't take it further because you can't now go to the parents and say, "This is what you have to do." I engaged her to a level that I believe should do something positive. So self-acceptance is very important. And there is this thing that is called unconditional self-acceptance. Unconditional self-acceptance, you must know that you have the good, the bad, and the ugly in you.
Yeah.
Well, you are you. God
Yeah.
loves you. God created you. And if you have it, every other person has it. We're all just working on ourselves at different level on different issues. All right? So unconditional self-acceptance means that the individual fully and unconditionally accepts himself. Whether he behaves intelligently, correctly, competently, or not. So your self-acceptance is not based on your competence. It's not based on the level of intelligence you have demonstrated. It's not based on how correct you have been on certain issues. Women, men, we should hear this. A lot of the time, people have grown up in families that have killed their self-esteem.
Yes.
They have been compared. They have been judged.
They go into many errors.
And they've gone into many errors. Some people in their 50s, 60s still know that they don't have any place when it comes to their mothers.
Because their self-esteem have been killed.
Yeah, they know that they don't have any place when it comes to their mothers. So ladies, let's dive into this discussion.
Yeah, so that is why it is very, very paramount to be careful when you are trying to correct a child. You know, I think we've said it somewhere here too, that when you are correcting a child, you should be able to, it's an event. Just know that whatever has happened, that is an event. That does not make the child what that thing is. It doesn't define the child, thank you. And the identity of that child is not attached to it. You see, there are so many people living in that box. Now, I tell parents, you know, we all have voices in our head, don't we?
Yeah.
Now, as a parent, what do you expect the voice of your voice should be in the ears of your child? Is it a voice when they try to remember your voice? Is it something that criticizes them? Is it something that puts them down? Is it when they remember what you say? Is it something that encourages them? Is it something that applauds them? Is it something that makes them daring? That wants to make them stand up for themselves? Is it something that builds that resilience in them and that confidence? Because they hear your voice after when
Every
you must
time.
have spoken. You know, you just came, you're done. Oh, you did this. You are average. And you keep labeling them based on a situation. That is bad. That can be very, very traumatic.
Or sorry to
Oh,
cut you short.
okay.
This word will say, what is wrong with you?
Don't be stupid.
And the child will start thinking, truly, what is wrong?
What is wrong with me?
So the child will be looking for what? That
Yeah.
There must be something.
Oh, you are average.
I have one
You
of my
can't.
children, once he hears that word, he has learned to say, nothing is wrong with me.
Yeah.
If he should say that to anyone, they'll take it as
Rudeness.
rudeness. But then he's been affirming. He's telling you that nothing is wrong with him. And I made them to say so. Because I want them not to think the negative thing that someone is telling them.
Yeah.
So there should be, what's the issue is what we should be looking at. If there's a situation, we deal with the situation. This thing we have mentioned now leads us to the different types of self-esteem. And there is the internal self-esteem and the external self-esteem. Grace, the internal self-esteem.
Well, before I get into that, I want us to understand that everybody is different. You don't have to compare yourself with other people. And God created us for a purpose. If you understand that you're different and God created you differently, you will not compare yourself. Flourish will not compare herself with Fumi. You know, so that will help you to build confidence and have and accept yourself the way you are. You understand? So I think we need to understand that, and then parents also need to understand that children are different. Children are different. You don't need to compare a child with another child.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Okay. Well, I think let me allow you to speak first.
All right, so I was leading us to that aspect of internal self-esteem,
Mm.
and it basically has to do with what you think of yourself inside,
Mm.
and they come from the word, the voices
Within.
that have been dropped within,
Yeah.
the voices that have spoken. What, a child's teacher can tell, you are a brilliant boy, and the child believes I'm brilliant. The child develops confidence in the classroom to ask questions, or the teacher says, why are you in school? Your parents should go and put you through. And that child just believes that, why do you start saying such? I said, I don't want to go to school. The parents will not understand. So messages conveyed by parents, by peers, by media, by culture, religion regarding worthiness will shape that
Their
internal
internal
self-esteem
self-esteem.
and internal conversation.
Mm.
You see, most of what we are discussing, they happen at that level of internal conversation.
Yeah.
There is no amount of affirmations, confessions, positive self-talks that you do that will change
What is inside?
your realities if what you are saying to yourself internally is not congruent.
Yeah.
So you could have woken up to say, all your confirmations and affirmations, I am this, I am that, I am blessed, I am this.
Yeah.
Say it scripturally, say it scientifically and all. And then while you are sitting down all by yourself, you're like, why am I this ugly?
Mm.
It could be because of this, the way, maybe the way I pronounce this particular word that guy left to.
Probably something negative that someone
know,
has said about you.
About you.
Yeah, you think it's
You're like,
about it.
this thing is happening, it's always happening to me. I'm not kind. Because someone tells you you're not kind,
Mm-hmm.
because someone calls you stupid, those form the internal conversation. Now the external self-esteem is where you are attaching your self-worth to external achievement, your self-worth to external approval. All right, a partner who expects like you expect a gift from someone, but you are not expecting the gift because it is who you are. It's my birthday and it's going to give me a gift. It has to be based on what I do. That is why you see some people believe that they have to give something to get something. Do you understand? That is the external self-esteem, and all these things work together. But the cure is to have your own standard of what is good enough.
Yeah.
Have your own standard of what is good enough. Know that you are good enough. If you're created in the image and likeness of God, hello,
Right.
you are good
Of course.
enough for whatever it is that you have in your mind to do,
Yeah.
for whatever dream, vision, you want to achieve. To be waiting for someone else to validate you, to be waiting for someone else to say, okay, you can now go and do it.
Yeah.
Before I said you are stupid, now you are not stupid again. And you see so many people, they are held back because of poor self-esteem.
Of course.
This could have been caused by environment. Like we said, it's a function of nature and nurture. Growing up experiences, things we have seen. There are so many things we can't even start going into.
Yeah.
Do
We
you
can go
know
on
that
and
the lifestyle of father and mother when a child is growing up could influence a child's self-esteem as an adult?
Yeah.
Of course.
You're right.
If a child grows up in a home that they are always
Arguing,
fighting and yelling and arguing, probably beating each other, and the child now grows up, becomes an adult, and goes to a place where there is one person that knows about the parents and the childhood.
Yeah.
What do you think that person will be so confident to talk about marriage?
Not at all.
The person might, be careful to talk about family, to talk about how they grew up. Whereas they had some positive things that they experienced as
Of course.
children growing up, but they won't be so bold to discuss it because of that experience. We're saying You are not your parents' experience.
You're you.
You are you. You are not what you have done either.
Mm.
There are different circumstances and situations in our lives, and we outgrow them. Do you know that these points that we have come to will lead us to discuss trust issues?
Yeah.
Someone that has all sorts of experiences growing up, how vulnerable do you think they will be, Lola?
They can't be so vulnerable because they've been battered in life. And because of this, they may have to withdraw. They become very careful the way they relate with people. They don't know what to expect from people. And because of that, they can't genuinely trust people. They can't come up open, making people see them for who they are. You know, they can be vulnerable because of so many life experiences that are really, really negative that they must have experienced in the past. And that is why you see that so many people that have trust issues, actually they can't have friendship that can have such value in it. For example, when I do not trust you, how do I expect you to trust me in return? And that circle just,
It's a vicious cycle.
goes on and on and on and on. And so we have to, if anybody is in such a dilemma, we have to get to a point of total openness. This is who I am. Embrace your weakness. Embrace you. Love you. And try to start from there, like, okay, this is who I am.
It is from a
It
black
is.
pot that
Do
a
you
white-
understand?
A white pap comes.
This is who I am. And when you come up open like that, that is when you can be understood for who you are. That is when you can be accepted for who you are. That is when you can get the support that you need from other people. And until you do that, you can't expect them. Okay, how do they get to know when you don't let them in? As in, when you don't let them in into
Grace,
yourself.
how can you offer support to someone that is hiding?
Of course, yeah.
Someone that is
That has trust issues and still caving in.
First of all, the person has to be aware. You know, some people don't agree with the issue. They don't believe that they have the issue. But first of all, the person has to know that this is an issue. And then you have to come out of it, find a way to come out of it. Either you see a therapist or you talk to yourself. You begin to find a way to, you don't expect too much from people. Do you understand? You don't expect too much from people, and then you're able to communicate your weaknesses, communicate to people.
even your strength.
Yeah.
Of
And
course.
this
You
is
can
what
com-
I'm good at.
Exactly.
This is what I am
You
not
can
good
communicate
at.
your weakness. Well, someone has said you have to celebrate your strength, and your weaknesses you can
You work on
you
them.
work
now.
on it. You work on
Everybody is a work in progress.
Exactly.
so-
Everybody. So when people have trust issues, it's as if self-esteem and trust issues, poor self-esteem and trust issues, they are interwoven.
Yeah.
And so somebody that is afraid of what you would think if you tell them about your
The
shadow
issue.
side
Yeah.
is now looking for friendship. Can you make friends with somebody that cannot tell you what's paining them?
Of course you cannot. You know, this is just like you said, trust and self-esteem, they are intertwined. It all starts from caregivers who is not consistent in whatever he needs to do. And the people watching, I mean the children that are watching, are not seeing consistency. And because of this, as they are growing up, they are not expecting consistency. They are not expecting things to be done in a way that, in such a way that I can trust you and believe that this will be done, because they've seen their parents not going in line with the way they should be. And as they are growing up, they're not believing in anybody, they're not trusting anyone, and they have that problem. So now that they have that problem, they themselves, they are not ready to talk because their parents are hiding. They are
So
making
they too are
things,
hiding.
of course, they are making things to be good when definitely things are not good, they will make it up this period, all is well. Another period, you see them the other way, they are acting funny. So they are not consistent in their behavior. So you now grow up in such an environment, you become inconsistent, and then you're not trustworthy. You don't even trust any. So at the long run, if you're not making people to know you, to see who you are, you're putting a problem out there.
So we cannot relate with the real person. We don't know the real person. The real person has come to our event and is feeling like dancing, or is sitting down.
Exactly.
Because
Not
does not know what
transparent.
that person will say. Pretense. Being fake.
Fake.
Always
life.
putting up this facade.
Facade. As if all is fine.
All is fine.
We are
well.
prim and proper. Whereas deep down it's all rottenness. And sometimes deep down it's all full of joy. But you don't even find a way to express that joy for other people to see.
Because
You
you're
just
looking for who
Because
to
of-
accept you,
who
or
to accept you or who to
is that
reject you.
somebody-
Because of low self-esteem. Yeah.
that's why we say
Who to accept or who to reject you. Hello, you are not performing for anybody.
Exactly. Live your life.
Nobody is watching that stage when you think
You mustn't
that.
be perfect. You mustn't be perfect. A lot of people want to be perfect. They want to be proper, you know. But you have to understand that you can make your mistakes.
Thank you.
You can make your
Make
mistakes.
them.
Yeah,
Make
make your
mistakes.
mistakes and come out of
The
it.
core of our discussion today should be
Make your mistakes.
Be free
You know,
to make
make
mistakes.
mistakes.
There's one of my friends who had told me this. Sorry to cut you short. Well, I was always like, I was being too careful with the children. And she told me, for me, allow these children to make their mistakes. That's how they learn.
Yeah.
And then they will now make correction from that, you know, that's it. More or less like whatever they have seen, even though it's a mistake, but they learn from it. And then it will make them perfect, or better still, or kind of
Better.
build their self-esteem.
Yeah, to make them a better
It's
person.
true because
So,
they,
don't just
you
be too-
develop confidence.
If you are pushing them and being the one telling them what to do, they won't build up on their own.
Yeah.
So allow them to think, allow them to be themselves. We're still going back to the same thing.
Yeah.
Allow them.
I
Allow
think
them.
another issue there is somebody like me. I set very high standards for myself, and if I don't meet it, I feel I failed. You know, so I think we can work on that by setting. You can set standards for yourself, but just celebrate your successes. Celebrate any little success you make, and be happy. No one is perfect. It's only God that is perfect. So don't set too much high standard for yourself. Somebody like me, I usually set very high standards for myself. And when I don't meet it, I feel like, oh, I've failed. I've not done it well enough. But I've come to understand that I can't be perfect. So what I do now is any little success I make, I celebrate it. I appreciate myself. You know, I'm happy. And then I continue. So I would like to admonish us that we should not set too high standards for ourselves. And we cannot be perfect.
Sorry to cut you short.
Yeah.
There's what you can. I would say that you can set a high standard, but at least reasonable, something you can achieve.
Not too high.
But there's, even when you fail at it, there's what is called failing forward. You are not where you were when you started it.
Yeah.
You had moved forward. You have gotten better. I'm so sure when you attempt such a task again, you're not going to make that same mistake again. And so that's a learning curve. And so setting high standards, failing at it and all of that should be embraced with all positivity.
Yeah.
Knowing that all of that in the mix is going to give you that growth, that development.
It is
And
needed.
knowing that the goals that individuals set for themselves also stem from experiences.
Yeah.
You know, they also stem from experiences where, for you to understand why an individual is setting the kind of goals they're setting for themselves, you need to understand their childhood experiences. All right, and it's okay to set goals, but you must understand that everything there is this space. There's nothing like failure. Until we understand that there's nothing like failure.
Of course.
Yeah, you have only learned how not to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
You've learned
How to
another
do
way
it
not to
better.
do it.
and
Yeah.
when you learn how not to do something, like she said, it means that what somebody will call failure is something that's propelling you. Because
course.
now that I've understood that and I'm moving on, so it's okay to set goals. It's also okay to set standards. We do not want to go into that gist of it's not
Certainly.
Alfred Adler
Adler.
to start discussing why people set goals. But sometimes I think we'll go into it because people set goals based on certain experiences that they have had, and sometimes the goals can lead to positive end. The goals can lead to negative end. But what we're saying is, when you are working on your self-esteem, you must understand that whatever goals you have set for yourself, it's a process.
Yeah.
She's saying enjoy the process.
Yeah.
She says she has learned to enjoy her process. She celebrates her little wins. She celebrates her big wins. I hope you know that if you don't celebrate, nobody will celebrate.
Exactly. You have to celebrate
You are the one that will
yourself.
call people for birthday
Exactly.
party. You're
Yeah.
the one that will say, okay, I'm celebrating my graduation. You're the one that says I'm celebrating anniversary.
Yeah.
You're the one that will say I'm opening a business. I want to have dinner party. I want. If you don't organize those things, nobody will celebrate them for you, except you have a circle of friends who also have that understanding. So what we are saying that your self-esteem matters. God cares about you. He loves you, and He has not created you with any label. When you identify who God has made you, who you are in God, who you are in Christ, if someone calls you the apple of His eyes, who are you to say you are not worthy? If someone says you are the apple of His eyes, who are you to say you are worthless?
Nobody.
Can-
I just want to add to. I think I want to take us back to that trust issue. Let's try to be consistent in everything we're doing. That's very important. If you are not, you won't be trusted. And one of the things that make you to be consistent and make you to do things right is when you have a good self-esteem. So we must build it.
You must build
We
it.
must build it.
We must
And
build
very,
it.
very key. Then you just have to build on your self-esteem and try to be consistent in whatever you're doing and do it right. Earn people's trust. And as well, if you have had issue with trust, you yourself you're not trusting people, then learn to give a benefit of doubt. You can try again.
So we should give people grace. Give people grace to be themselves around you. Give yourself grace to be yourself.
Don't expect too
yourself-
much from
Yeah,
people.
give yourself grace to make mistakes. Give yourself grace to correct yourself. Nobody is saying you will always spring back up, but you can always find yourself coming back up in whatever things you have done that you think you are not up to expectation, up to your goals. Okay, on this note, we'll say goodbye.
Right. Bye.